Hey, Paul, you want to
Praise-
learn how to experience God?
that's all I want.
Sweet. Richard in Birmingham is here to tell us how to
Hello?
experience God.
And keep in mind that both Matt and I experienced things that we thought at the time were God.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, let me tell you what happened to me. Right? In 2010, 2000 into 2009, I went to prison and I ended up getting 5 years for that sentence. And I was a heroin addict and I was still on methadone. I hadn't took heroin for 6 months, but I had took crack. I used to inject it. I hope it's okay to say this. I think we're all adults here. Right, so I was a methadone addict at that time. I'd been a heroin and crack addict for 10 years, right? So I went to prison 2009, right? I was still in prison in 2011. I didn't get out till 2012, halfway through my sentence, right? So in 2011, on April the 8th, yeah, on April the 8th, 2011, right, something culminated over that. Something happened that was a culmination of a period of time. Right, I'd given up smoking for 40 days. I hadn't smoked a cigarette. Right, this one night, I borrowed a Bible off my mate next door. It was this awesome Bible, had an index in the back, and I was really interested in what words meant because I'm quite smart. So I opened this Bible about 10 o'clock at night and I read it. I didn't read it, the book. I'd looked in this index on words and I wrote all these notes down, right? And my main worry was that I wasn't going to see my son go to school, right? Because he was coming to 5. And I never said that to God, but he answered it for me. I can't remember how it happened, but I found out that there's a type of there's kind of a law where kids are not responsible for themselves till they're 7. So I thought, okay, he's in your hands. I'll give him over to you, yeah. And I felt better about it. And then, right, about 5 o'clock in the morning, right, I've been doing all these notes all night. About 5 o'clock in the morning, I opened my heart and I said, God, the reason why I don't believe in you is because I'm afraid. I'm afraid for my kids and I'm afraid of what it says in the Bible, right? I got up and I baptized myself in the sink. I said, I baptize you. And I said my name in the name of God. And I sat down, right, in the lotus position on the bed, right? Instantly, the room started to change in front of me, right? Was I no drugs? I was sober. And I wasn't even tired because I'd been up all night. Going to sleep was over. I didn't care about sleep. I mean, because I'd been up all night. The room started to change into my eyes. I was tripping. I took acid, but this was not like acid. It was a million times better. It was so unbelievable that I stopped looking like that because I was like, what's going on? I couldn't believe my eyes, right? And I looked away and I thought to myself, I've got to, I hope you can still hear me. I thought to myself, I've got to be mature about this. Something's happening, right? So I continued to look forward and the room started to change again. It started to go like a palace or something. I couldn't describe what it was looking like. But I started to feel super heavy as well. Like a lot of people think, didn't you feel light and fluffy? No, I felt super heavy, like I was melting into everything, right? And I stood and I sat there staring at it for about 15 seconds, and I saw this light out of the corner of my eye. I did not look at it, but as soon as I became aware of this, the whole room went bright as day, brighter than anything I've ever seen, and it absolutely blew me away. I've been clean now, yeah, for over 10 years. 9 years I've been clean, right? Because of this, what happened to me, all the problems I have in my life, I always think back to that, and that thing is what changed my life. After that, right, I told my mate about it, who used to meditate. He was into meditation. and I was really open to anything at that time. So my whole life had just been like, it'd been totaled, and my heart was so happy. I laughed for a whole week. They sent me to a nut house, right? Because I told them what happened to me in the prison, and I thought they thought I was acting a bit strange, right? So they sent me to the nut house, right, at another prison. And I saw a psychiatrist, and he said, "Do you want to go to this nut house, right? So in Birmingham."
Really?
And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll go there." He came back
The
a week later.
psychologist asked you
said,
if you
"You're not
wanted to
going
go
to
to the nut house. Okay.
What
How
are
do
we
you know
supposed to
that
do
he-
with this story,
Yeah,
Richard?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do with
I'm
this
trying
story?
to explain
How
to
can-
you how.
No.
I'm trying to explain to you how to be a receiver so that you can.
No,
see
you're
the truth.
telling us
If you
telling us
don't know
what happened,
how-
and it's getting very long. You're telling us very little about the how.
I'm telling you
Um,
that I prayed to God, right, and He answered my prayer, and I've been
Okay.
clean now for 9 years. And if
Richard?
you
Richard?
don't kill your ego, because prison has got a way of
Richard?
destroying your ego. It strips away who you are. What?
Okay.
What?
Do you have anything useful to tell us about how we can experience God? Because
I'm saying your ego.
let me
gets
finish.
in the
Please
way.
let me
Your ego,
fucking
the fact that you think you already
finish
know.
my fucking thought, Richard. Stop talking over me.
Go on then.
I sat here and listened to
Go
you.
for it.
Now let me shut up. I'd like something about
All right,
how
man,
I
you
can.
talk to me like that all the time. So
All right, I've muted you so that I don't have to yell at you. My apologies. I have questions that I'd like to ask you, Richard, but you won't shut up long enough for me to get a thought out. So I guess what I'm going to have to do is mute you like this, then unmute you when I've asked a question to get an answer, and then mute you again. Richard, do you think that I have talked to God?
do I think you've talked to God? Is that what you asked me?
Yes. Why is it? Oh my God. If you can't get through the first fucking question.
Okay. So are you able to have a conversation or not? Can I ask you a question at all?
No, you can't ask me a question because I just asked you a question. You could barely put together the ability to restate the question and then didn't answer it. So I'm going to ask it again. And yes, I can have a conversation, which I've proved over and over again. I'm not the one with a problem with a conversation here, Richard, which I've already demonstrated today. So let me ask my question again. Do you think I have tried speaking to God?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. So what did I
What's
do
your
wrong
point?
and what did I do wrong and how do you know that I did it
Your
wrong?
approach. I don't know that you did. I don't know how you did it. I just know your approach.
Then I don't
was
care
wrong.
what you have to say. Goodbye. You're not going to call in and suggest that we need to kill our ego or that you found the way to talk to God and the rest of us just don't. That's some arrogant fucking bullshit. That's some monumentally arrogant bullshit that everybody else who wasn't delivered from heroin while stuck in prison having incredible experiences that they have no way of demonstrating are from God. Those are the people who've learned this important lesson about how to communicate with God. And the rest of us are just somehow sinful, prideful, whatever else. Here's what you need to do. Go ask God what God wants you to say to us, and don't call back until you get the answer, because I'm never interested in hearing from you again, but I am interested in hearing from God. And if you think you have a message for me from God, I'll take that. But if you're just going to tell your story and then absolutely fail to address the first question that somebody asks you, and then act like we're the ones that don't know how to have a conversation, you're not welcome here.